The issues affecting you. Revealed, explained, discussed. Now on WGAL 8 in Focus.
Hello, I'm Susan Shapiro. Right now, about 15,000 children are in temporary foster care in Pennsylvania. Pressley Ridge is a foster care agency in York and Lancaster. It offers traditional foster care as well as a community-based residential care program. The specialized program helps care for at-risk youth. Tonight, we'll learn more about the program from parents and 2 young people who are part of it. We're putting specialized foster care in focus. Joining us now is Abby Chan, who's here from Pressley Ridge's Community Residential Rehabilitation Program, and she's the program supervisor. Thanks so much for being here.
Yep, I'm happy to be here.
Let's talk first about foster care. We hear so much that the system is broken, that it's not working for children who are in care.
Yeah.
What's your take on it?
I think that foster care is a very high needed service. I think that we're always looking for more parents to have for it. It can be really difficult and challenging to navigate. And yeah, that has its ups and downs for sure.
How do children end up in foster care? We have so many in Pennsylvania.
Oftentimes it's involvement through children and youth, but we are also representing a level of care that is funded through insurance. So the kiddos coming to me have a mental health diagnosis and a doctor's recommending community residential rehabilitation service for mine.
So what is that service?
It's the highest level of foster care services that fits under that umbrella. It provides 24/7 supervision. It's a higher per diem for our parents. We provide individual and family therapy in the home. Our main goal in our program is to get the kiddos back home to their family, discharge resource, whoever they're living with, successfully stepping down from inpatient or residential or areas like that where they're not quite ready to be in the community or go home, and there's like a gap, and that's where we're filling.
So how does this work? These are children living in homes that obviously have been approved by Pressley Ridge.
Correct. Yeah. So they are living in treatment with treatment parents in their home in the community. We are supporting them as staff to successfully work with those treatment parents, but the treatment parents are doing they're the agents of change. They're the ones really supporting these kiddos to work on their goals, whatever it may be, and to help greater family connectedness. So when they go home, it's more successful for that family.
What kind of training do they get?
Very intense training through Pressley Ridge. We have an evidence-based curriculum we're very proud of. It's over 40 hours of training just to become certified, and it covers all types of areas and measurements of how to create success and how to approach that with positive reinforcement, other parenting strategies.
What kind of results do you have? How do you measure those results?
So we are fidelity based, where we do try to measure those throughout the course of a youth stay, and we measure that, and the goal is for them to successfully leave our program, and if we can find measurements of how they succeeded or grown in our program, that's how we measure that success.
And you need people to do this, correct?
Very badly, yeah. So community residential rehabilitation is a very high need service for youth right now. It's filling a huge gap of children being in placements out of home versus being home with their family when they're not quite ready. We don't have enough parents to service. I get maybe 20 to 30 referrals a week, and I don't have nearly that many homes.
Wow.
I have maybe 15.
Well, it takes a big commitment, doesn't it?
It's a big commitment, and we love our families. We love working with them, and we're here to support those families through all of that. That's our goal as staff in our program.
Not that it's the reason why someone might do it, but the families are paid, aren't they?
They are paid the highest per diem daily rate compared to traditional foster care or treatment foster care. We try to reflect that higher need of service and skill set that they come, because they're not foster parents, they're treatment parents. They're here to provide treatment.
And as you said, they undergo a lot of treatment, a
lot of training.
Training, I should say. Why do you think this is working?
I feel, when kiddos have that need to go to placements, they're in a residential lockdown facility. It's not realistic in nature for these kiddos to work on their behaviors and work through things when they're not with their family or with their friends or at school getting triggered or working through their issues. So what's really awesome about our service is then they're back in the community going to school, following a daily routine that's more day-to-day focused, in a family environment, learning how to be a family member and things like that. So it makes it more successful in the sense of we have very passionate treatment parents, passionate staff helping them and working through it. We get to see what other facilities and placements don't get to see.
It's more of a natural kind of
thing,
environment, more real life, shall we say.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
You mentioned that insurance pays for it.
Yes, so we are the only level of foster care that insurance funds our stay because the kiddos do require a mental health diagnosis to enter, and they have authorizations, they're called, for 3 to 4 months at a time. A doctor needs to warrant the continued level of care, but it is funded through insurance, which is why all those services such as individual therapy, family therapy, med management, ongoing evaluations from doctors, all bundled in to what we provide from day one, which is really awesome.
And you're still, even though you're not involved in that program with children and youth, you're still abiding by state regulations.
Yes, we have to follow foster care regulations and residential regulations. We do sometimes work with children and youth if the kiddo doesn't have a family to return to, and we try to work at that point to make them successful to be adopted and to be with a family and work successfully.
Oh, good. Well, it sounds interesting.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. And coming up on WGAL 8 in Focus, we'll talk with 2 treatment parents.
This is WGAL 8 in Focus, coverage you can count on.
We continue our conversation about a specialized foster care program run through Pressley Ridge, and we're joined now by treatment parents Ian and Corinne Blythe. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having us.
What got you into being a treatment parent, Ian?
Very good question. So I go to church with one of my church brothers, and I noticed that he has a lot of children with him every time we go to church. And it seemed to be a joyous occasion with these kids. So I said, what's going on here? Why you have so many different kids? And he told us about the program. So we said, wow, that's interesting. At that moment, I said, you know what? I want that. I want what you have. And so he referred me to Pressley Ridge, and we took it from there.
Wow. And were you on board with this too, Corinne?
Yes, ma'am, I was.
Why?
To me, it's joy to have the children around. Our children are older right now, in their late teens and 20s, and to have the smaller children, younger teens, it brings joy.
When you say our children, you have biological children?
I have, yes, 3. 2 daughters and a son.
Now, these are children that obviously are in need of mental health care. What is that like? How does that present itself in the family?
It differs. What I realized that no kid is the same. They come with different situations, different needs. Trauma is at the bottom line of it. So when we parent, when we treat, trauma is our main focus. So we look at the trauma and how it manifests itself into whatever behavior, whatever is going on. So it's a specific, individualized plan and treatment approach to each kid that come to us. So it is different on a kid-to-kid basis.
I hear you shaking your head,
it's
Abby.
very accurate.
Sounds like he's been trained well.
He
right?
knows what he's doing, correct?
What about them? You said they're some of your star parents.
Yeah, I mean, it's very evident they love working with children. They love having a full house of children. They love children who are motivated to get better, and they love working with those kiddos. They are invested and passionate, and it's like every time I come out to that home, I see that. We've had groups of children in their home where we've had like family talks and things like that, and it's just such a great time. Like she's saying joy, he's saying joyous. It's so accurate to describe their home when they have all these kids there. And you might be weary, like, oh, they have mental health issues, or they come with trauma, but these are kids who are just struggling in a way, and they're here to help unstruggle themselves, right? Like get through and be productive, and that's exactly what they do.
Yeah. What about that, Corinne? Dealing with children who have mental health issues. How do you deal with it?
It can be a challenge at some times, but you have to understand that it is not personal. It's not against us. They is mentally in them, within them, and we have to be understanding to them.
Yeah, I imagine that's not always easy, is it?
No, ma'am. Sometimes it is a challenge, but you always have to remember it's not personal.
Yeah.
What is it like to see, a success, Ian?
Well, success for me is look at Keyshawn, who's going to come up next, right? Keyshawn has been with us for a long period of time. He's been with us over how many years?
I feel like we've been working with him about 4.
He's moving out to go to college, to university. That is success. That is success. Was it challenging? Of course. Were we frustrated? Of course. But to see him grow up right before our eyes and to help him along the way, to us, that's success.
That's so rewarding, I imagine.
It is very rewarding.
Yeah.
Wow, you need more parents like this, correct?
Thank you. Yes, exactly. Exactly.
As you said. And they live in York County, but you serve a wide area in the Susquehanna
Yes.
Valley.
I mean, any kiddo could come from any county in Pennsylvania, realistically. The other thing too is a lot of our families are in the York County region in Harrisburg and Mechanicsburg, so we're looking to expand as much as we possibly can. So don't hesitate to reach out if you're farther out than that.
And sadly, the need never ends, I guess.
It never does, no.
Yeah. What would you say, Corinne, in terms of, the reward of this for you?
Reward. Like I said before, it just brings me joy. When you can speak to a child on their level and understand that, it's not personal and help them, it is such a reward in your heart.
Would you recommend this to other
Yes.
people?
Yes, I would. I would recommend it, being a treatment parent.
Well, thank you both for being here. We appreciate it. And coming up on WGAL 8 in Focus, we'll hear from Kishan, who lived with the Blythes.
This is WGAL 8 in Focus, coverage you can count on.
We heard Kishan's name mentioned, and now Kishan Moore joins us. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, pleasure.
Appreciate it. How did you end up in the foster care system?
Just grew up in a really bad home, and now here I am, and yeah.
When you say a really bad home, what was going on?
Well, a lot of drug use, a lot of abuse, and it was just not any circumstance that a kid should be in. And I'm very lucky that I'm here today.
Wow. Yeah. What was that like for you?
Absolutely, it's a blur right now, but it didn't set me up for anything. It was really bad. It's kind of a blur, but I wish I could tell you more, but it's really a blur.
I understand that. And you went to a lot of different foster care homes?
Yes, about 8 and 13 placements.
Wow. Abby, is that pretty typical?
Yes. Before a child enters the community residential rehabilitation program, they're kind of bumping around place to place to place. And I think the one thing that we're really trying to provide is that stability. And I'm happy to say that we were able to keep him in our program for the past 3 to 4 years.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Wow. And that can't be good for
It
your
makes-
mental health
Yes.
and for trauma.
It only compounds to their issues and what they're working through and experiences that they had prior to placements is going to place. There's no stability, no family environment for them.
So how did you end up placing Kishan with the Blythes?
Ironically, my director, her name is Nicole, was working with you in another home through Presley Ridge, and at that point we decided that he may need that community residential rehabilitation level. My doctor recommended for him to enter our program, and we put him into the Blythes home, who you've already met, and that's how he came about to be. I was not the supervisor then, I was actually assigned as his therapist, so we've been working together for quite some time.
For a long time.
Yeah.
So Kishan, what did you get from living with the Blythes?
I got lots of confidence. From the first time I came here, I was really awkward. I think I'm just a little bit still awkward, but
I don't
it's a work
think
in
so at
progress.
all. I think you're so well spoken.
But I was really awkward. I was really scared. I was really, I wasn't used to that normal lifestyle, and that's what Presley Ridge really helped me with.
So you learn kind of what a family dynamic is like and what it's like to live in, kind of a
course.
regular
Yeah.
family. What did you like the most about that?
Honestly, Presley Ridge is so different from all the other facilities I've been in because they give you that. Well, I can't think of it, but
Maybe stability?
yeah,
that you're
stability.
talking
Yeah,
about?
they give you the stability that you need. Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful. What did you learn about your own mental health?
Well, I learned that you always need help because when I first came here, I was like, yo, I don't need help. I don't need that, and I learned to accept it over time.
Oh.
Yeah.
Boy, that's a great thing if you can learn to learn that you do need help. And you must be so proud of he's now going off to college.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yes, I am super proud, and I think it was really awesome to hear him say like his confidence grew, because when I did meet him originally, I would say he didn't have confidence. He didn't have an identity as a young teenager, and I think he learned who he is in our program. I got to see that flourish. He is such a star of like the show, and he's just so great to see like that growth. Yeah.
What are your plans for the future?
Well, I'm trying to get into acting, a lot of voice acting. I'm just trying to make it, trying to somehow make it better for some kids that are in my situation, That's what I'm trying to do.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, we wish you the best of
Thank
luck.
you. Thank you.
Really, that sounds like you've been set up for success.
Thank you. Yeah.
We appreciate it. Thank you so much. Coming up on WGAL 8 in Focus, we'll talk with a mother and daughter who are also in the program.
This is WGAL 8 in Focus. Coverage you can count on.
Joining us now are Allie and her daughter Nyla, who are also in this treatment program. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Tell us the backstory here. You adopted Nyla when she was very young.
Yes, Nyla came, she joined our family when she was about 2.5 from the foster care system, and we adopted her about when she was 4 or 5.
Do you remember that, Nyla?
Yeah, I have a lot of memories of it, like a lot of good memories, which I'm glad about.
Well, that's good. What was it like for you to be in that foster care program initially?
It was, I don't remember like much, but like being with them, I remember when I first came, like the first thing I said to my dad was, "Hey Dad, where's Mom?"
Well, that's
she fit
certainly
right
nice
in.
to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then what has happened that sent her into this residential treatment program?
Yeah, well, I think when you have kind of a trauma background, then, things start coming out kind of when you're in the teenage years. And so we were seeing some behaviors that were, disturbing, and that kind of she was going down a path where, the law would have been involved, and kind of extreme behaviors. And then the way I was reacting to them was extreme as well, as far as I'm not knowing how to handle it and being very reactive and not calm, which is what she needed with her background. So we had been through several therapists and mental health programs, and then we ended up, thank goodness, here at Presley Ridge.
What kinds of behaviors? Can you expound on that?
Can you expound on that?
It was like really like aggressive. I would get like really like over dramatic over like really small things. Like looking back now, I realized like they were like really bad behaviors. Like, cause being in the program has really helped me a lot. Really helped me like look into the emotions and see like the deeper meaning to them.
At the time, you probably didn't realize it
at
was
the time,
inappropriate behavior.
Yeah, I was just like really angry at them, like thinking it was all their fault and like not really looking inward.
So what has the treatment program been like?
It's been really nice. At first, I was kind of like in denial about it because in my opinion, I thought I was like fine, I didn't need any help. But like being in there longer, like, cause I've been there for like months and stuff, and it like, with the therapy, it's really helped me like get like more in tune with my emotions, and it's really helped me like realize like this was wrong, this was probably like the more like emotion I was feeling, and like that I was the one mainly in the wrong, like definitely in the wrong.
Allie, are you seeing a changed young
Yes.
girl?
Oh,
She's
my
only
goodness.
14.
Yes,
but
yes, and she's doing an amazing job, but the therapist works with both of us, and so the way I was reacting to it too was kind of triggering her, and so they had, for her particular diagnosis, they told us, you need to kind of regulate first, and then relate, and then reason. And, and I was reacting, and then it was kind of this thing. So we needed a whole new reset for our family, because we would see each other, we'd trigger each other, and this gave us a fresh start, just having the time away where she could work on her and I could work on me, and my husband could work, we could work on our parenting, and then the whole goal was to come together. And the therapist has done a great job working with both of us, both sides.
so the plan is for her to move back home?
Oh yes, absolutely, yes. Yeah.
And you think you'll be on a different path?
Yes, yes, and she's doing extended stay visits now, and they go beautifully, and we miss her and want her back, you know, and we're excited now. I felt kind of hopeless when we were going into the program, like things were not going to change based on all of the other programs we had tried, but then we just saw this steady kind of improvement and this softening of the fight on both sides, and you know, now we have a real hope for the future, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
What's your hope for the future, Nyla?
Definitely that I'll get to like get back home and then like get to stay home. Like I won't have to go into any more programs again, and that'll be like really peaceful at home.
Why do you think this was different?
Well, like that's like what she said, like with the therapist, how like it was kind of like picking sides. I think this program is like with the therapist, especially how it's for both of us, and like it's different because like sorry.
No, that's okay. Yeah,
Nervous.
different because you mentioned picking sides, and you
Yes.
told me that earlier that
Yes.
you'd find some therapists siding with the parents or with Nyla.
Right. So they would either side with one or the other, but I feel like this is the first time we have somebody 100% for Nyla and 100% for us and 100% for reunification. So, you know, everyone's on board, everyone's on the same page to get Nyla back home.
You must be pretty grateful to the treatment parents. What do you think
Yeah.
about their role in this?
She's a rock star. We have a Michelle, her treatment parent is absolutely amazing. She has a calmness, and I've learned a lot from her in kind of how to deal with Nyla and the escalating things. And Nyla will say to me, well, Miss Michelle does this when I feel upset. And so we've learned a lot. She's been absolutely amazing, as well as our therapist, Sam, Abby, everybody has been wonderful.
That's wonderful. Well, Nyla, we wish you the best of luck. Thank you so much for sharing your story, and to you too.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for having us.
You can learn more about Presley Ridge at its website, presleyridge.org. Thank you for joining us for WGAL 8 in Focus. For all of us at WGAL, I'm Susan Shapiro. Join us again next Saturday night at 7 o'clock for WGAL 8 in Focus, right after NBC Nightly News. And you can watch each episode of In Focus, plus WGAL's latest newscasts, original programming, and more. Just download the Very Local app and stream for free on Roku and Amazon Fire TV.